Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukkake, your host. Having liberated Barovia, our party are separated and continuing on their own quests. Juniper befriended a horse and traveled to Candlekeep in search of answers, while Quinny discovered a new thieving gig and Reginald found out some of his former compatriots had crossed over to Neverwinter. What will happen now that Quinny and Reginald switched bodies? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Juniper, you've arrived at the top of the stairs to Candlekeep, and you are greeted by an elf in a sort of a very plain shift who is seems very engrossed in a scroll, reading a scroll as you walk up, but they quickly slide it into a tube hanging off their belt, and they turn to you and say, welcome, traveler, to Candlekeep. I hope you've come here in search of knowledge and enlightenment and all the gifts that our wondrous library can bestow upon you. Have you visited us before?
I have not.
Well, that's very, very exciting.
This is such a wonderful welcome. Thank you.
You're most welcome. So if this is your first time, you may not know about our entry requirements. But in order to continue to stock our library with the combined knowledge of the realms and the worlds and the planes, we require that every visitor bring us something that isn't in our archive. So I must ask you, what have you brought?
Do you... Oh, dear. I'm, looking through, just gonna look through my sack for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, what do I have? Do you mean, in terms of books, or are there, other items that you offer on loan?
Just to access the facility in the first place and to seek the knowledge here, you must first contribute knowledge. Now, it doesn't need to be a book per se. We accept scrolls, haikus, poems, but if you just hastily scrawl something with no thought or effort, that of course will not be acceptable, because otherwise we would just have reams and reams of garbage, as you can imagine. So it does need to be a document of some note that we have not had. That said, in certain instances, we have also allowed for inspection of wondrous items that can provide knowledge. So if you have something of that ilk, that would also be acceptable.
I kind of looked through the only book that I have on me right now is a book on the Great Collide from the Handor Library that is incredibly overdue. But I don't want to just give that up, because I do intend to return it at some point.
What else do you have on you that might be of interest to a library of eternal knowledge?
A library of eternal, I mean...
Got a great banana bread recipe.
I've got... Okay, I'm literally going through my stuff. Okay, I've got a medal and a crown of flowers from winning champion of Handor, a library card for the Handor Library, a potion of greater healing. I have a bunch of dust of dryness, little water.
Do you have any of those left after fighting the Kraken?
No, but I have some of the water left.
Oh, right.
That I kept with me.
Oh, man. It's a shame Juniper doesn't have something she reads all the time.
Yeah, my scroll. You sure? Maybe a discount card at the Handor costume shop?
They look at it and they're like, Handor is rather far from here. I don't believe we would ever be at the costume shop.
A broken piece of coral reef?
No.
Can we fast forward in a cut to Laura's read every other item in her inventory?
No, that's basically every item in my inventory. So I do take out my scroll, and and I look at it. Said, just give me a second. I kind of turn. So
she gasps and says, "An augur scroll? Oh, the mages haven't seen one of these in an age. If we could examine this and perhaps jot down some of its information, this would do quite well. A magical scroll? What a perfect thing to allow you access to Candlekeep."
Can you just take the knowledge from it, and will I be able to get it back?
Oh, of course. We wouldn't presume to take an augur scroll from you. We merely wish to copy down some of what you've seen off of it. Our archmages are very good at reactivating them.
Yes, please.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I was going to take that coral, but I suppose now we'll just deal with this. That's fine. Welcome to Candlekeep. And
thank you. Do you by any chance have interlibrary loan services with the Handor Library?
Honestly, I could speak to the librarian and see if they're willing. But yes, I believe so. We do trade books quite frequently. Okay. It is so hard to find the second 50 Shades of Grey scroll. The first two are everywhere. Or the first and third are everywhere, but that second one is very elusive.
What?
Oh, it's very kinky. You should read it. Unfortunately, our only copy is at the Handor Library right now, but it seems as though you can borrow from there, so next time you're in town.
Okay. Well, can I give you this book on the Great Collide?
Yes.
From the Handor Library to
certainly, we can return that. Absolutely.
Thanks. Oh my God, I can cross that off my list. It's been hanging over me for so long.
Yeah, the Great Collide is no longer your objective. It was just returning a fucking library book. Yeah.
So I can have two objectives.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've got a bunch of side quests in video games. I know what that's like. So you make your way into Candlekeep, and Juniper, as someone who is a seeker of knowledge and experiences, this is real kid in a candy store for you. It's everywhere you look, you see people kind of deep in study and wandering around with great purpose. You can hear the tinging of a blacksmith's hammer nearby, and it seems that Candlekeep is indeed a keep. There's a full kind of a village and town set up down here, as well as the actual superstructure. So the greeter had recommended that you make your way inside. She specifically told you that you needed to, one moment, you need to seek out Silvira Savakis, who is an expert in the plains, particularly as soon as she looked at your augur scroll. She was like, basically you had a quick conversation about kind of what you hope to achieve in broad terms. So she asked you to show Silvira your scroll and said that she would likely be able to help you, although she is apparently quite busy today. As you make your way in, you're kind of wandering through the town. Again, I think it brings you some degree of comfort just to see people out and about. It's, you've also, like, you obviously skipped the Barovia ride, but you've been through some shit. It's been kind of nice to kind of just be back on the road with you and Clippity Cloppity. And
I kind of feel like I'm getting back a little bit to how it was before, I met like Quinny and Butthole, where it was like, oh, I can actually make friends with people along the way and actually, spread the light.
Yeah. And this is what you're thinking as you begin to climb the stairs up to the keep. And you're so kind of lost in thought and reminiscences about this that you completely fail to see the person coming down the stairs, and you bump into a dwarven woman wearing armor, who seems like to be kind of storming past quite briskly, and you kind of bounce off her, and she just kind of glares at you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, please. And I just kind of step aside. This is my fault, obviously.
Fair enough. And Maud Buggins kind of just nods at you and grumbles a little bit, and then storms off past you to go talk to the blacksmith. You continue to make your way.
Arm. What a cool beefy arm.
It's a very beefy arm. As you make your way up into Castle Keep, you hear some raised voices. You hear someone yelling, "Stupid!" very loudly, that echoes through the halls. And then a variety of shushing. So you kind of, you wait your turn, it's a little it's a while. It actually takes you a little bit to get in to see Silvira. The guide was correct. It's a very busy day for her. But there's like a little like snack cart that comes by, kind of like on the Hogwarts Express, with just like, or like on the Via Rail. It's just like full of like weird off-brand teas and coffees and snacks. Do you think you'd get a snack?
Yes.
What do you get?
Most definitely. If there's like some sort of like carrot coffee cake, I think. Please tell me they have it.
We're gonna find out. I rolled a 1. They sold out. It's very popular.
Ah, that's okay.
You get a date square.
Flip the table.
You flip the cart.
Well, I'll be able to poop later.
And with that, the car trundles off, and then finally you're brought in to talk to Silvira. The door opens and you can see she's a little flustered. It's clearly a busy day. She kind of collects herself. And she turns and smiles. She's a tiefling with sort of like reddish skin, obviously the big horns, wearing kind of like a high-collared outfit. And she says, hello, I'm terribly sorry about the wait. There's a lot going on around here today. May
I ask what's going on? I'm Juniper.
Oh, Juniper, yes, hello, I'm Silvira, and this is my companion, Jezebel. And there's a little Quasit who's down there. He's like, hey, nice to meet you, you piece of shit. And she's like, I'm really sorry about her. That's just kind of how she is. She just met her crush a few minutes ago. She's a little stressed about that. Anyway, I'm sorry. Come in. It's nothing you should concern yourself with. An old friend was just here asking for a favor. You're not here about Elturel, are you? City disappeared. You remember hearing rumors of this in Baldur's Gate, but
right.
no real concern of yours. Once you determined it wasn't a Collide-related issue.
Yeah.
Hashtag not my problem, right? There's no butthole here to be like, let's investigate.
Yeah. I mean, heard of it in passing.
Oh, okay.
Not precisely why I'm here.
Okay, fair enough. An old friend had just come. They're setting out on a rather dangerous mission to return it that you, dear listener, can hear all about in our one-shot series. But that we, dear players, have already experienced and will continue on as though we know what's up. Yes, so she quickly just outlines that she was helping some friends make their way to Avernus to right a great wrong. Happily she's dealt with that, so she's all yours. She says, I understand you've brought an augur scroll. Is that correct?
That's what it's called. That's what I've always called it.
Is it?
No, it really isn't.
Jezebel's like, yeah, I knew you were lying. Insight.
I know.
And Silvira says it's completely understandable. I will admit, most people who have these, I've heard Scroll of Fortune, I've heard Map of History, I've heard all sorts of terms applied to these things. Usually
prophecy?
Yes, a lot of prophecy. Were you told it was a prophecy-based thing?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Look, these things, they make their way around, and they're always very mysterious, and people just kind of make them what they can. But the important thing is that you've been using it to observe planar disruptions, I understand.
Yes. My eyes are wide. I'm like thrilled. I had no idea that like someone would be this attuned to what's going on.
Yep, she nods and says,
delightful.
Yeah, she says, listen, if you're anything like the other people I've talked to who have gone through this, you're going to want answers, and I understand that. And I can give you some, but not all. But I think I can point you towards the people who actually can. But regardless, it sounds like you've got a lot of questions that must have been bugging you for an age. Why don't you come sit down, we'll have some tea, and I'll see if I can clear some stuff up. It's the Collide, right?
The Great Collide.
Yeah. That's what I was afraid of. Maybe something stronger than tea. And Jezebel's like, yeah, rum. She's like, no. Oh.
My favorite.
Jezebel, like, puts up the little, like, demon hands and turns and is like, ah! And Zavira's like, well, guess it's going to be a night then. With that, she goes to her shelf, takes a vaguely demonic-looking skull with a stopper in it, slams it down in the middle of the table, and says, all right, Juniper, what do you want to know? So we cut to Reginald. You've had the best sleep you can remember. You wake up and you feel legitimately rested, and you really feel like it was that just like 1-inch shoulder relaxation piece, and like you unlocked your jaw, and you just roll over comfortably and kind of stretch your arms. And that's when you realize you were able to roll over and no traps went off, which is hugely concerning. So your eye springs awake, and you're having trouble seeing out of one of them. And you realize you're not wearing armor, and you're in a... how does Quinny sleep, Tyler? Does he have like pajamas? What's his deal?
He sleeps in like his underclothes. So the leather armor would come off, and it's just like cotton shirt and pants kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you wake up in that, and Ryan, what do you do?
The hell am I, a stripper? Where's my friggin' armor? And then I think he's gonna look around to see like where his traps went, or like what's around.
The room is laid out much differently. There's a meticulously folded cloak, Tyler, where would you store? You slept with the bag of holding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You find a bag in your arms, but your arms are really small.
Okay, I'm gonna open up the bag and look in it.
It is like looking into a massive cavern full of weird stuff. There's a porcelain mask. There's a top hat with a veil on it. There's a bunch of fucking gold. So much gold. Tyler, what's one other interesting thing Ryan can see when he looks into the bag?
For some reason, there is a bunch of copper wiring.
Oh man, you can make a fortune when you yank that stuff out of a wall. This is some genius's bag, he says. Then he realizes his arms.
Sorry, Ryan, he says that out loud?
Yeah.
Oh, it comes out sounding a lot different than that, doesn't it?
Oh boy, you could sell this for a great price. This is I'm
sorry, you're not in this scene, Tyler. It comes out sounding a bit differently, doesn't it, Ryan?
Oh, I see.
Oh boy, this is some genius's bag.
You realize your arms are small and your voice is weird. Also, why the fuck can't you see out of that one eye?
The fuck is going on? He reaches down and he just grabs the edge of his pants and pulls it forwards to check his penis, as any paranoid man would.
You see the biggest fucking hog you've ever seen down there, man.
It's majestic but different.
It's the average Hobbit anatomy. I don't know.
I'm not crazy about how this has turned out, he says to himself as he turns to the mirror.
You see the face of Quinny Brownbarrow staring back at you.
Oh no, it's an idiot's bag, he says to himself as he looks at Quinny in the mirror.
So Ryan, for your own notification here, when you say things out loud, it's Quinny. When they say it in your head, it's Reginald.
God, no, he's still saying it out loud.
I understand. I fully understand. I just want to lay down some ground rules. So, as you've determined, we are, in fact, in a Freaky Friday scenario. Now, what this means is I had everyone send me their character sheets under the guise of me needing to look at everyone's leveled up stats, which was a lie. I just needed them for Freaky Friday purposes. So just remember, kids, if anyone ever asks you to send them your character sheet, it's probably a Freaky Friday setup. That classic D&D thing. So you both have brand new character sheets you've never looked at before. I think you vaguely know a little bit of each other's powers, but also, like, Reginald's still a relatively new character in Dum Dum's terms. So there's a bunch of shit we haven't seen. But part of a Freaky Friday scenario is that neither Quinny nor Reginald knows what the other one is capable of, nor how to do it. So there's a lot of stuff that you as players mechanically won't understand. That's totally fine. There will be moments where it will be fully appropriate, and I'll try and referee these as best I can, but there will be moments where it's fully appropriate to just be like, okay, what the fuck is this? I don't know what this is. Like, I'm in a fight, I don't know what to do. Tyler, what's the thing that Quinny has that I could use here? Sometimes that'll be fine. In other cases, it'll be more like, Reginald's got a bag full of gems. I feel like that's just a thing Quinny would have to figure out. So I'll police those. But please do ask questions. Please do ask for clarification. It's entirely unfair what I've just done to you, but that's kind of part of the Freaky Friday. I debated giving you a full night to study, but I realized that would kind of ruin this part of it. Right. Yes, for all intents and purposes, your brain is in the other person's body. You have all of their powers, none of your own.
Oh my God, I'm naked, he says, looking at himself in the mirror. And then he realizes in his head, wait, Quinny's had an exit this whole time? He's just been forcing down? Oh my God, he's a farm boy.
Amazing.
I gotta get dressed or I'm gonna die.
Oh my God.
Quinny, the Bone Crushers. I will say this is several minutes before Reginald's awakening. The Bone Crushers booted in your door. You just realized you were in the wrong body, what's his name? Juniper literally just walked through the door and got shot by a bunch of arrows that were like trap rigged and just took them. Kind of like pummeled his armor a bit. One got stuck in his forehead. He just cracked it off and threw it away. And after Kira Bloodfist's excited shout of like, let's go fuck shit up, they look around and Junpei's like, wait, did you booby trap your room? What, you sleep with a teddy bear there too? Oh, I'm Reginald. I'm scared people are gonna hurt me at night. Look at this idiot. And then he just fucking backhands you and they all laugh.
Or rather, I guess. And then just close my fist and swing back at that guy's face, like from the prone position.
Hey, Tyler, this might be a first. Go ahead and roll me an attack roll without sneak attack or dex bonus.
Yeah.
Definitely take proficiency.
Nat 1, and I cannot re-roll it.
Cause you ain't lucky no more.
Yeah.
You swing for his face. He catches your fist in his fist, and just gives you a momentary squeeze that hurts, but in a way that I think the Quinny inside you would normally view as like, oh, this is a hand crushing thing. Right. Like, I've very rarely been in any amount of good shape, but when I was like, oh man, I can lift things a bit easier because I've been lifting weights. That's cool. It's a little bit like that. It's not that it's pleasant to, help a friend move a couch, but it was a little bit easier that one time I had upper body strength. Okay. And also I think as a thief, like your hands are kind of precious. So there's a natural like, and then you realize like, no, this actually has some weight to it, which is not bad. So he gives that squeeze, but then his face splits into a grin, which is truly alarming and vaguely gruesome, as you see all of his teeth have been filed to points. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Typical Reginald, always throwing punches. And Kira's like, yeah, that's great, Junpei. Listen, Reginald, this is all adorable. I promise we won't tell anyone. I know it's a weird world. You're probably just a little uncomfortable. You just wanted to feel a little bit more like home. It's pretty weak sauce, but that's all right, man. All right, look, we need you to, well, you're already suited up, so that's great. So pack up whatever this shit you want. We got to go right now.
Where are we going, guys?
I'll tell you on the way. It's kind of time sensitive. We've got a caravan to protect.
Sounds good. I've just got to, I heard some noise in my neighbor's room, so I got to go, fuck him up and make sure he doesn't forget Reginald, the butcher of Winchester. You can let him have a good night's sleep.
Well, we'll just let Fluffy do it. Fluffy loves that shit.
No. This time it's personal.
All right. Listen. We'll get the name of the person on the way out. We really got to go. The caravan's on the way, and honestly, the boss is gonna be real mad if we don't get there. Come on, let's go.
Fuck.
And with that,
up, I guess.
Quinny, you are frog marched. I think that's what they call it when people are just like, oh, you're with us now. Out of the restaurant, past Dahlia, who gives you a thumbs up and a wink, and mouths, Quinny.
Did you do this? It's like just
Like, I hope you learned your lesson. Oh, he's gone. So the bone crushers sort of like drag you out.
I'm 7 feet tall and I'm still getting picked up and bullied by people. Like I can't fucking win.
It would almost seem, Tyler, that a harder life yields a harder heart.
I guess so.
So as you're dragged out, feeling just generally salty about being like picked up by these guys, but Junpei is very scary. Donkey Jr. comes galloping over and then does a full on like puts on the brakes and stops in front of you and kind of sniffs you and goes, "He snarf."
Do I just hear he snarf?
You do, because you can't speak animal now.
Well, I like that's like a beast speech is like a thing that I can do. But do Reginald and Donkey Jr. have any kind of connection that I no? Okay,
No,
I think it's a Han Solo. It's I think they've got a Han Solo Chewbacca thing where like Reginald has figured out how to understand what he snarf means what, but doesn't like I don't think Han speaks Wookiee. But he can understand.
I just want to make sure that whatever's coming in my ears is not special in any way. Okay.
No, what I would say is Reginald probably does understand about 60% of what Donkey Jr. says, and then he just decides the other 40.
Not unlike Goblin Jr. until we found out who he sounds like in the Mind Palace. But nevertheless, unfortunately, Quinny does not have this ability.
Okay, so as I'm assuming I'm just being carried on, right? Like, Donkey shows up.
I think at this point you're kind of like walking with them because you've realized like this is happening whether you wanted to or not. But it's
I'll just say, Donkey, go take care of Quinny.
And Donkey Jr. gives you a real like, "Are you fucking sure, man? Look." It's like, "He snarf?"
You heard me.
He snarf.
Yeah.
He gives a full on like, "We got a badass over here," and definitely gives you like, he like eyes you in like a vaguely suspicious, might be putting it together, usually like a best friend or like a weird principal kind of way in these movies, where it's like the one character is like, "Maybe I get this," and then kind of like nods and fucks off to go take care of Quinny. And they're like, Kira Bloodfist is like, "Oh, thank God, Donkey Jr. survived? Oh, man. Would have been real sad if that little fucker died." Although I bet he's pretty tasty. Come on, you're saying you're not tempted to just like chop off a leg sometime, cook that shit up?
Oh, I think about it sometimes, but then I think how hard would it be to ride a 3-legged donkey? Anyway, let's not ask me any more questions.
They're like, honestly, Reginald, I don't know if it was just this soft world, but you seem all right, man. You seem pretty good. This is great. All right, well, listen, we got quite a tale to tell you, and I think you're really gonna like it. All right, come on. If we don't get to that cart, who knows who could try and steal it? So Quinny, Reginald Quinny. I'm just gonna keep calling you your in-brain names. So Reginald / Ryan. We jump back forward in time to when you've awoken and gotten dressed. Just as you finish getting dressed, you throw open the door to find Donkey Jr. Sleeping very adorably and loyally just outside your door, which is a bit of a relief because you were really worried he wouldn't know who you are.
Okay, so Donkey Jr., you and I gotta find out how we can switch these bodies.
He snarf? Which you recognize to be something in the vein of like, the fuck with that voice?
No, it's me, it's Reginald, but I've been inside Quinny, and apparently he talks like this if he isn't really determined not to. I think he grew up on a farm.
He snarf. Just one thing Donkey Jr. knows, it's farms. So he just kind of nods and is like, "He snarf." Like, this
so
is
where's
fine.
my baddie?
He snarf, and he proceeds to try and snarf tell you, and then he eventually just like bites your cloak and like drags you a couple doors down to, well, not a couple doors down, but like the walls aren't like right next to you, so it drags you to the room you fell asleep in, which has been the traps have been triggered. But all of the stuff was left behind. Your gear is gone, but your body's gone. But the traps were clearly triggered by bone crushers. I think you'd probably be able to tell pretty easily.
Okay, this isn't good, but it's not necessarily the worst. Donkey Jr., right now, we have 63,000 gold and a sterling reputation. If we're going to stay in this body forever, we can just run away. We need to talk to the people who own this building.
I can't get over this.
Is it like, is it Northern Ontario?
I don't.
Because of like Dutch, maybe? Like, I'm not sure where.
Northern Ontario.
Yeah.
Look,
All this started because I had to try to riff an impression of Tyler talking normally and accidentally did a dialect on one word. And now I'm committed. There's no going back.
Sir, fucking egg on my face for not picking a distinct voice instead of just speaking normally.
No, it's on me for not being able to recreate. All right, so let's go find who owns this bear.
And
Can't wait to meet Quinny's family. Get to pass this to Tom.
Thanks, pal.
Hey, ma. Hey, pa.
Incidentally, this is a delight, and I greatly appreciate this additional piece of the mythos here. It's all canon, baby. It's all canon. All right. So, fucking, you don't have to do the voice. The donkey leads Reginald as Quinny downstairs to the bar where everything's getting set up. As promised, there are just like troughs of continental breakfast set up that you can like scoop eggs out of. They're literally just like wooden troughs full of kind of gross clammy eggs and toast. You see someone who looks like they're probably Delia's brother. And he's like, "Hi, I'm Jeffrey Hottentot, and welcome to the Continental Breakfast."
Well, it's nice to meet you, Jeffrey, but I've got a question for Dahlia. Is she here?
Oh, my sister? No, she's off shift.
Okay, then maybe you can answer this question. Why the fuck am I in this body? And where the fuck did my friend go in my body? And when do we switch back?
And his eyes go wide, and he's like, "Oh, no, she did it again! Oh, Dahlia! Listen, I'm real sorry about that. Look, she was here not too long ago. I'll go chase her down. She just, I don't know, she seemed real pleased with herself. I thought she'd just done a good night's work instead of doing her stupid body swap thing again. Listen, you're kind of stuck there until the two of you learn how to get along. She normally does it when people fight on dates. She thinks it's a real cool way of getting people to get along. I think it's highly dangerous, and a few people have gotten stuck in the wrong bodies. And also, I think it's possible if you don't achieve it in the set amount of time that, like, I think maybe your brain just wanders off into the void. I don't know. It's kind of dangerous. So you're really going to want to, like, learn a lesson real fast there, bud. Where's your friend?
I legitimately don't know. I think he got taken by my evil army from another dimension.
I mean, that's a lot for a simple continental breakfast server like myself. I was hoping you'd ask for more jam. We don't have any, but you could certainly ask. Okay. Well, listen, I don't really know how to help you beyond just giving you that much. Just make sure you get it done within the week or you're kind of stuck. And, brains aren't really supposed to live in other people's bodies, so I think after that you pretty much just start falling apart. So maybe get it done within the week, yeah? Also, I think there were some kids asking about you.
Yeah, I gotta do a jab with them later, but right now I gotta focus on my baddie.
Okay, well,
Wow.
those guys are long gone, but good luck, I guess. Would you still like your eggs?
Yeah. He'll sit down and like hurriedly shovel a normal Reginald amount of food into himself, and then make himself feel very sick because Quinny is like 1/3 his mass.
As you're doing it, Lyndon shows up, and she's like, "Oh, all right, Quinny, hey, so listen, slight hitch in the plan. Looks like we gotta pull this job today. The caravan's on its way in right now. You ready to go?"
Okay, I'm good to. I mean, I'm good to go. I'm Quinny.
That's really cool that you were practicing a silly small town farm voice. That's really funny coming out of Quinny.
Yeah, no, this is who I am. I don't have friends and I'm better than you.
Wow. He totally burned me about not needing me. He is Quinny. He is Quinny. And she's like, all right, well, come along, Mr. Brown Barrow. Oh, everyone's going to be so jealous that you nagged me. He's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I like it when people say that about me, but I hate it when I say it about them. I'm Quinny.
Okay, we established that. Come on, let's go.
Follow awkwardly, trying to slink like Quinny slinks, but I think it's almost like a weird Bob Fosse walk because he's never been stealthy in his life, so it's like a little too big.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Meanwhile, Juniper, you are sitting with Silvira. Keeping in mind that she is really the person, like she's the intermediary who can point you towards more answers, but she might have a little bit for you. What do you think you would ask her?
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
give you 3 questions.
Oh, 3 questions. Fuck.
Some people say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I'd say 3 breaths and an is worth at least a monologue.
Okay, so I have to focus. Let's not be selfish. Not ask questions about myself. Which I really wanted to. Okay.
Keep in mind, this isn't like 3 questions in a she will answer you these questions 3. This is over the course of the conversation. So
Yes.
you can 100% ask a selfish question, also knowing that she's not the person. She's the person on the way to the person. Ask whatever you want.
Yeah, what I really need to know is, I mean, how the barriers between the worlds became so fragile and how to repair it. Because we got people coming through, we got people willingly and unwillingly crossing between, and it's not what's supposed to be happening.
Yeah, she gives you a full-on like stress emoji face, which is like, ugh. She's like, oh God, gods, I was afraid of that. Okay, that is concerning. Look, I specialize in planar transport. I'm aware of how to move between the planes and dimension door and all that fun stuff. But that's very different from what it sounds like you're talking about. Because they're all the planes of existence in our kind of realm, and you're talking about people from other full realms with all of their planes that might be linked but are crossing over into ours. That sounds very dangerous.
I just found out I'm literally from Eberron. I came here and I didn't even know it.
Eberron. I've heard of Eberron, certainly. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I guess welcome to Faerun. A while ago, I suppose.
I don't know. I thought I grew up here.
Well, did you grow up in a city or something?
We were kind of a bit reclusive.
Okay, well, easier than to be tricked, I suppose. As I understand it, there are people. In fact, the man I'm sending you to should hopefully be able to provide some guidance on this. There are people, as I understand it, whose jobs it are to move between the planes and prevent any damage to the membrane between universes and between anything else, and have been doing it for generations. It's not as though no one has ever discovered this or thought of this before. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they perhaps seeded this information with your people. It is a rather large job, but if the membrane is collapsing, if worlds are starting to bleed over, in particular if people are crossing over between worlds without proper interplanetary or interplanar travel, that could completely unhinge all of reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's not the best.
Okay, I was like 90% sure I was supposed to stop the Great Collide, and now I'm like 100% sure. Okay, good.
Yeah, okay. So what do you know about the Great Collide? And then you, I'm sure, fill her in on kind of like the broad strokes.
Yeah.
And she nods and says, yeah, Because essentially, as I understand it, right now we've kind of, it's like all the universes are a bunch of, and she kind of like holds up her like delicate rum glass, and she's like, it's like a bunch of really nice rum glasses, all balanced on a tray, and they're all full of rum, and that's great. And each of the rums is kind of the same, kind of different, all delicious, but in their own flavors, right? And they're all being very delicately balanced. But if they start sloshing over into each other, they're going to start to spill, and the balance will go off, and they could all just fall over and shatter. I think that's kind of what this Great Collide is, right?
I think that's the perfect analogy.
Okay, that's not great. And your augur scroll has been leading you towards collide events, is that correct?
Yeah. It's been showing me like people to go to, things to follow, people who, and it seems to be and it's been showing me images of people who've been touched by the Great Collide. So they're weird, and they like overlap, and then I feel really sick, and I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to be happening.
So you're possibly seeing two alternate versions of the same person.
Yeah, and then one became a demon and was going back and forth between being a demon and not.
Who was that? She says, and like she kind of like, now she's had a couple rums, she kind of like, her eyes dart up to her horns, and she's like, demon like this? Was it just a tiefling? Are you just secretly kind of racist? Because
no, I think it was a dragonborn becoming a demonic.
An aspect of Tiamat? The dragon god.
Would I have known that? Do you think? Like, I
probably not. I don't think that would have come up in your travels,
Juniper,
and it's definitely not an Eberron thing. That's a.
So it's kind of like, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, some.
Can I draw it for you?
Well, wait. You have the scroll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did I? Yeah.
Here,
yeah.
pass it to me for a second. Jezebel, come here. And Jezebel's like, we looking at scrolls? Yeah. Where's the button on these things? And Jezebel's like, yeah, always buttons. So many buttons. And Jezebel does a quick series of like wax on, wax off gestures in various parts of the scroll. And suddenly, the most recent image you had, which I believe was a Strahd related one, comes up. And then Jezebel starts swiping like an iPad back through all of the images the scroll has shown you. And Jezebel's like, what? You never tried tech support? Ha! You piece of shit. I like you. And then Jezebel like runs away and hides. And Sylvira just kind of shakes her head. She's like, I'm sorry. Closets are very strange. Honestly, I wish you'd gotten here a bit earlier. I had this adorable little elephant pal. You really would have liked her. But yeah, so show me which image it is.
And I try to go back to where Bucky.
So you scroll back,
which was around the same time as Xanthus. They should be
pretty
close to each other.
So what I'll say is they're not giving you like the living effect. Like it very much does feel like things that have been saved, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
So they're not as active. But Xanthus really just kind of seems like a scarier version of himself. And Bucky was the one that was like real weird. She's like, oh yeah, no, this is definitely someone touched by Tiamat, god of dragons, lives in Avernus. Real, it's all right. Tiamat's been locked up for forever. At least here.
So maybe so. Oh, so you think Tiamat's gonna come through out of Avernus through Bucky?
Not necessarily, but Dragonborn have been known, those who worship, particularly those from the Blood Mountains who worship
I
Tiamat.
think he's from the Blood Mountains, isn't he?
I don't know. You've just described him to me. I don't know how to help you. Jezebel's like, yeah, probably, and then runs away.
Yeah.
Well, look, anyone who worships Tiamat, it's similar to how a cleric can call upon the power of their god. With the proper rites and sacrifices, one could become an embodiment of their god. So it's possible that Bucky, was it, perhaps has communed with Tiamat and has gained these gifts.
Does Tiamat go by any other names?
No, Tiamat goes by Tiamat. That's question number 2. What's your third one?
Oh no. Oh. I mean, how do I stop the Great Collide? How do I stop it? How do I stop it?
That is
I
a very
mean,
good question.
That's ultimately.
I understand. I don't have an answer to that because what you basically told me is I came to understand all of the planes of existence and how to move between them, which is admittedly pretty badass. Archmage, pretty cool. But you've just told me that basically I did all of this and I felt really good about it, but I'm just living in an ant farm. And there's an entire fucking building around the ant farm that I've never heard of, have no understanding of, and can't really help with. Possibly full of more ant farms where people also think that's the whole world. So I can't help you. It sounds like you need to find these people who know how to move between the planes. If anyone will know how to do it, it's them. And that's who I'm going to send you to.
Okay, good.
Okay, he's not one himself, but if anyone will know, it's him. We talked long ago, and he seemed to know what was up. But honestly, if you want answers, you need to find a planeswalker.
A planeswalker?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
I think the only ones who can give you any guidance on this. And again, I know a place. So.
Great. Yeah.
But before I send you, I've had a bit of a day, and honestly, I'm like 95% certain I'm going to have to go to Avernus to help my friends later. So do you want to drink the rest of this rum? Because I feel like I'm in for a long fucking night.
Okay, can you just tell me, like, where like, just before you get, like, too wasted, where the planeswalkers are? I'm sorry, it's just, you know what? Stuff happens.
She just kind of, like, looks at you. It's the first time that you're actually getting, like, derision from her. And she just kind of, like, extends her arm to where a quill is writing a very detailed map on a table nearby, and she's like, Archmage.
I'm sorry. I just put my hands up, like, my bad.
And Jizbo's like, yeah, you're bad. More rum?
Yes, please.
And Sapphira kind of chuckles. She's like, I like this one. All right, more rum all around. Meanwhile, Quinny as Reginald, you and the Bone Shakers have, Bone Crushers rather, have made your way to a sort of a little bit further out into the woods, where you meet up with a caravan with some very bloodied mercenaries. These guys are looking really rough. And the captain of them kind of stumbles up to Kira, and then he kind of looks between Kira and you, and he says, "Which one of you is the captain?" Right? I am correct that Reginald was a captain?
I think he's a
Is he
general.
general?
Reginald was a
What I
general,
have.
General. All right.
but that would be fine. The Horde makes up its own terms, so he's in charge of an army. You can put him wherever you want.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, we'll go with general. Then he's like, which one of you is the general? And Kira goes to raise a hand and then kind of stops and looks to Reginald. Are you still Captain General?
That's his new rank, Captain General.
Oh yeah, totally, yeah.
And Junpei's like, he looks confused. And Kira is just like, look, Jesus, what's his? Hang on, sir, one sec. Commander Albrecht has changed the ranks so many times. Honestly, he was Lieutenant General a few months ago. He's Captain General now. I mean, with any luck, soon he'll be General. Modern Major is next, but, he's really got to work hard for that. So just cut the guy some slack. Besides, he got separated from us. He's been living in Soft Town. He's hanging out with that little guy. Like, who knows? So they just kind of, she nods to you and says, all right, take it away, Captain General.
Well, I actually haven't been brought up to speed on what we're doing here. So why don't you tell me what you've got going on, and then I'll issue some orders.
Classic Captain General behavior. the mercenary who Tyler, you would recognize as a Greywater merc, says, as requested, we moved the Ilium as quickly as we could. We were attacked several times along the way. My crew suffered considerable losses, but we managed to shield it with our bodies enough, I believe, that no ilium was spilt. I understand from Commander Polka that the payment was quite large for this. So, on behalf of all of us from the Greywater Syndicate and our associated mercenary bands, thank you for your business. Please make sure to leave us a review on one of the local Yelp boards in case anyone finds their way back out to Neverwinter at any point. And Kira says, good. Yes, Captain General, we've been tasked with moving a large amount of ilium. It's some kind of stupid magical fluid. It's very important for the ritual we're working on. So we hired these clowns to bring it here, but we couldn't afford to risk it, particularly hearing that they'd taken such losses. So we're taking it the rest of the way to the tower. It's vitally important for what we're about to do. So,
And what is it that we're about to do?
And she says, right, of course, that would be helpful. And then she just reaches out and punches through the mercenary's chest, rips out his heart, and as she does it, the other two just, like, lunge at the remaining mercs, who all, like, pull up their weapons, but, like, Junpei's just smashing heads off the cart, and you watch Fluffy McSnugglekin just, like, drain the essence out of two people at the same time, kind of one with each hand, until their bodies are kind of desiccated husks, and then toss them aside and burp through stitched lips, which is really fucking gross on many levels.
Well, thank you.
It's like a wisp of bluish light that's not the best. And Kira says, look how easily the most expensive mercenaries in this fucking world die. They're so soft here. Did you know they don't even have war all the time? What the fuck? What a bunch of idiots. So look, we thought about going back, but then we have to fight the Alliance and deal with all that shit. And we don't really want to fight those guys anymore. So we thought, why? Why bow and scrape over there when we could take this place? This place could be home. We could just kill all these little assholes and take over all their shit. It'll be amazing. They're not prepared. These guys, literally, their only job is to fight. And I punched through his chest like it was nothing. They're gonna die so fast. So, first things first, we gotta bring the rest of the horde over. So we're working on it. We've got you're gonna love this. We found someone who can shift between the realities, right? And we got them chained up, and all we need to do is plug them into a bunch of magical bullshit, and we'll be able to open a portal. Right now, we're only able to bring like one or two people through at a time, but if we can get that door open, baby, it's go horde. And we're gonna keep it sexy all over these motherfuckers.
That's so good. I love that plan.
Can you roll me a deception check?
You'll have to use Reginald's stats because it's an unfamiliar face and voice for lying.
So this is organized differently. It's under charisma, deception +2, so 12. Does he get any bonuses to deception or anything like skill-based stuff?
Nope.
No? Okay.
She kind of narrows her eyes a bit, but nods and says, look, I know it sounds crazy, moving between dimensions and everything, but trust me, you gotta see what this planes fucker does. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's gonna be great. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. Go horde.
Go horde.
And then she holds out the heart. She's like, "You want a bite of this before I get in there?"
No, I had a heart last night and it's still, giving
You got
me-
heartburn?
I got heartburn, yeah.
That's a shame. All right, wagons east. And the very, very scared, trembling guy at the reins is like, ah. And the cart starts to roll. Quinny, you're kind of left alone with your thoughts for a moment as the bone crushers laugh over the squishy people they just killed. What's going through your head right now?
Fear, rage, confusion still. I'm looking at these Greywater corpses. They are corpses, right? They're
Very much so.
dead, not dying. They're dead.
Very dead.
I don't think I'm sorry. I'm just looking at like what I have.
I'm not asking you to do anything. I was just seeing where you're at the back of this horrible, horrible parade of misery.
There's no healing there. You can
No,
look,
I
but
know,
there's
I
none.
know. And this is kind of like a player thing. Like I don't want to like throw out like your stuff, Ryan. Like like when you get your character sheet back, I want to leave the character sheet better than I found it.
The Dan Savage
It's
campsite
the Boy Scout
approach.
campsite
Yeah.
rule. So I wanted to see if I could like leave a clue being like, oh, people kill these Greywater guys and they're these people. Come and get us. Come kill us. But I don't think I can. So
For what it's worth, Quinny, you did agree to help lead a bunch of orphans on a mission to steal some magical shit. Think they might find you anyway.
yeah, I guess like yeah, no, I'll just it rained last night. It's super muddy. I'm making sure to keep walking through the mud to make a very clear trail.
Gotcha. What does it feel like being in this much bigger frame?
It's I feel like everything is a little over exaggerated initially. So the arms swing like way too high and the knees go too high when he walks. So it looks like cartoon Mulan when Mushu is like crawling around her armor and like making her walk all weird. Telling her like knees together, chest back, chin high, all that stuff, and just starts walking like a fucking idiot. That's how Reginald is marching.
Also,
Amazing.
your armor gives you disadvantage on stealth, so it is loud and obnoxious.
Yes, okay, good. Also that.
What does it feel like to have two organic eyes again?
I feel like magic helped me with my one eye a little bit. So I feel like it's not too bad. This is completely unscientific, but I feel like colors are more vivid. I feel like just and being able to just like gauge distance for someone who is dex oriented, like being able to gauge distance between 2 points is still like super important anyway. So I feel like that just comes a lot easier. And that's
Cool.
Yeah.
So we cut back to Reginald in Quinny's body, meeting up with the urchins, who are all running, trying to get like their coats on and stuff. And Dice Thoreau is desperately reloading his arm full of. He seems to be putting like cards in one and then loading dice into another. And Lyndon's like, we're not. When will you need dice today? And he's like, you never know. Always be prepared. Because they're a bunch of adorable scamps. And they're like, Mr. Quinny, it's so great you came. Okay, look, the first piece of the ritual is being shipped in today, so we gotta go real fast if we're gonna get there. It's something called ilium. It's supposed to be like a magical fluid, kind of mercurial, and it's supposed to be really, really potent. It's supposed to be a really powerful ingredient. So I think if we can get that, we can easily fence it.
All right, so what's the plan?
Oh, that's up to you. You're the master thief. They named all the awards after you.
All right, so what we know is there is a thing that we want to steal, and we need to steal it.
Yeah, and it's moving right now. It's on its way up to town. Once it gets inside the town, there's no way we can take it. So our only chance is to get it en route.
All right, what weapons do you guys have?
Dice Thoreau raises his arms Job style. They're like, that. Also, I've got a knife. And she holds up the saddest knife you've ever seen.
Okay, perfect. Does everyone else have pathetic knives?
No, just me. We spent all of our money on the one.
All right, who's the best of you? If we had to choose one, the uber urchin.
Dice raises his hands, and Lyndon just pushes it down and says, it's me.
Okay, Lyndon, everybody else stay here. And Lyndon, you come with me.
And she looks at all of them, and she's like, I'm going on a mission with Quinny Brownbarrow. And they're all like kicking the ground adorably like little scamps. So the two of you take off. Are you bringing no, Donkey Jr.? Yeah, are you bringing Donkey Jr. with you?
Yeah, I'll ride Donkey Jr. It's like riding a horse, though. It's terrifying. It's so big and out of control. Luckily, I trust Donkey Jr. It would be terrifying.
And Lyndon just runs
the first
as
time,
fast as she can alongside.
The first time Donkey Jr. kicks, I just go, oh, God!
And then I get back to Quinny voice, and I'm okay.
Can you roll me a deception check, please?
Yes, I can.
I'm rolling scamp dice against your deception dice.
That is a nat 20.
She's like, oh, wow, that's a cool donkey riding noise. Way hey and away you go, donkey riding. So cool.
Yeah, and Reginald is immediately disgusted because he's aware that for him that wasn't a good lie, but he's realized that only having one eye and an incredibly small face means when you broadcast your lies, they just seem smaller anyways. And he's just livid in his head. He's like, he's not even a better liar than me. He's just got a stupid, tinier face that hides his lies. This is crap. I'm as good as him.
This is really bringing us together, Tom. This is great.
Man, I can just set it up. It's up to you fuckers to knock it down. I don't give a shit. There's always sheet tearing. You take off on the donkey, and as Lyndon guides you, she kind of guides you up a hill, and below you can see yourself and the Bone Crushers marching alongside a terrified man who is whipping a regular-sized mule, carrying a large barrel that's under a heavy tarp that's been like wrapped several times, and then there's round shields kind of on top and then on the sides just to give it some extra protection.
Okay, it's this ilium stuff. Does it explode or anything weird if we break it?
It's just supposed to be very easy to sell.
Okay. All right, then you stay here, and I'm gonna go down there, and we're gonna steal the ilium or whatever. All right?
Oh, that sounds super cool.
How many more shipments are there before this whole magic business is done?
There's supposed to be 3 that go in, and then we've got our big scheme to steal the massive diamond that powers the thing. Mickey didn't give us a lot of details, so we've been calling things a lot, so just trust me, it's real expensive.
Okay. I'm gonna go down there, you stay here, so that you don't die. Do a good job.
Wait, no, what's my job, though? I'm part of this heist. I'm part of a heist crew.
All right, then. Okay, your job is to be the lookout.
And I take out both of the hand crossbows because I have no idea how the fuck to use them, and I give them both to Lyndon, and I'm like,
you're gonna follow me down there, and then, because I'm Quinny Brownbarrow, you're gonna keep me safe, because if anybody comes at me, you shoot them with the crossbows, okay?
Okay, I can do that, but listen, Mr. Quinny, before we do this, as you may have determined, I am but a simple orphan, along with my fellow urchins, so I have no last name of my own, and I know that lots of thieves have cool last names. Can you give me a cool, heroic thief last name that I can use for this mission?
Absolutely.
Says Quinny, and Reginald thinks for a second, and he realizes he can't come up with anything because Reginald's not a great improviser. and he rests a hand on his shoulder and just says,
Brown Barrow.
I'm Lyndon Brown Barrow of House Brown Barrow. And then she like cocks both the hand crossbows with her teeth. She's like, I got your back, Quinny. Let's go rob some fuckers.
All right. Time for me to do the thing I do best. Everything.
then he puts the ring of invisibility on and goes invisible to advance.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Elizabeth at EL Hamstring on Twitter, and our fantastic DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited by Ryan LaPlante, and all of Dum-Dums and Dice's art is by Decapitated Markers, or at Decapitated Marker on Twitter. That's MRKR. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, Charles Grams, Christopher Little, Olin Anderson, Sue One, George Dolby, One True Artistry, Orion Birchfield, Lord Abradovic, Noel Lewis, Scott Garland, Anthony Griffin, Zekin X, Jordan Neesmith, Benjamin V, Gavin and Abby McDonald, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.